Well, that was nice and pleasant. And that is the end of the song and the album, U2 Zooropa, out of deference to the great Johnny Cash. We're going to let this klaxon roll on. Ooh. Got to adjust that camera a little bit. Oh, okay. All right. Should have done that beforehand. How's everyone doing? Catch up on the chat here. Future days, we are indeed gaming. We're on the path, the righteous path to gaming. Hey, Commander, send me your invoice, you ding dong. Okay. Oh, that should not be. Haha. Wrong Windows on the desktop. I was not prepared. Whoops. Actually got to take care of this real quick. Give me like 2 seconds. Enjoy. Passengers, U2 with Brian Eno. While I do a final bit of paperwork. Turn that down just a touch. Who is Otamani? 3507. Benjamin. What does your invoice say? It's still a little too loud. There it is. Need to convert 3,200 euro to USD. Current rate. Okay. 322,416. I think that's all my wire transfers for the month. This is what happens when you're the boss. You get to do all the paperwork. Essentially, set of transfers. Boom. All set. Okay. And then, Commander, I will write your check as soon as you get me that invoice so that I can mail them. I already have 3 checks that I've already made out. We'll have to do the 4th for you. So, do take care of that, please. Hey, Caddick. Going well. Thanks for first-time viewer. Hello. Sorry for that kind of dull start. Because we're scattered literally all over the world, I had to, we handle most of our payments via wire transfers. Although I do occasionally do some old-fashioned check writing. I'm just writing a note for myself. Commander, please make sure you give me the correct address this time. Commander somehow managed on his last invoice. Yeah, I'm calling you out. Calling you out. Managed on his last invoice to list 2 different addresses on his invoice. And so I ended up. He's like, "Where's my paycheck?" And then, return to sender because he gave me the wrong address. Rip LMAO. Okay, let's actually do some work. This is gonna be a short one today because I'm meeting some old college friends. So I'm setting a timer, doing a tight hour 20. We're gonna get a lot done. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful. Gotta have myself in the corner so that I can see myself. How are the volume levels right now? Are we good? Any redlining? Are we doing some nice intimate ASMR streaming here? Because we can always do that. Don't need you. Don't need you. Not you guys. I need you guys. Hard Times did a great spoof. Twitch streamer can't enjoy video games without someone watching. It was like Twitch pervert can't enjoy video games without someone watching. You're on notice, Commander. Motherfucker. Don't make me bring out the Commander voice. Okay, so for those of you not awares, we are work in progress on Brigador Killers. Kind of a shit show right now. Still just a touch loud, although I love this song. This is our little testing menagerie, our shooting range. Different suits we can get into. Haha! One of the things we're going to add is a get into, get out of timer, so it's not just like instantaneous. Although in the case of like a power suit like this, you will be able to, if there's an empty one in the field, you will be able to get into it. But the idea is that there is a major setup time for equipment like this, or at least to tear down. So one of the mechanics that we're adding is a trigger for death on exit. So when you get out of this suit, you're actually firing like explosive bolts or something. It'll pop the suit. The reason for that being that there's going to be suit-based restrictions for getting into and out of vehicles. So a big heavy suit like this, you can still get into like pedestrian vehicles. So I can still get into the tuk-tuk. We're gonna fix this like backpack thing and the juddering. That's work in progress right now. Gaddock, yes, this is Brigador Killers, or at least work in progress on Brigador Killers. It's a very fun little niche of killers. So there's a lot more stuff under the hood that we haven't shown you guys, but yeah. So that's all that stuff's in progress, probably for BK Test 05. Right now we're getting ready for the Brigador Killers Test 4. So what we've been doing the last almost 6 months now is we're doing small distribution internal tests to about 20 people. to check stuff out and get feedback, kind of, gut check kind of stuff. Because that's actually, we did that in a much more informal capacity on pretty much the first or the last 2 years of Brigador's original development, and it was extremely helpful. And we kind of lost track of that for various reasons. The last couple of years haven't been good for anybody, frankly. But you're coming back from deployment. Wow. Well, I'll be honest, you haven't missed much. At least not on the Brigador side. We're just now starting to spin up proper external coverage of the game. I know we did that thing back in 2019. I think, Jesus, so long ago. And then sort of went dark again. Because one of the things we realized is that that version of Killers just wasn't. It was more like a total conversion of Brigador rather than a new game. So we sort of went back to the drawing board and reevaluated some of first principles for what we were trying to do with Killers. A big part of that is basically we're looking at kind of Grand Theft Auto 2, but good. Take that, Grand Theft Auto. Combined with Hitman, these sort of area exploration and much more iterative level play. So for example, so on these maps, although actually check this out, if I turn off dev mode. So we're now gonna, whenever you deploy in a zone, you're gonna have a map that you can open up and just give you breathing room to see, okay, here's all the stuff that's going on. Here's my route that I'm going to take, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be able to deploy incognito. So if I reset. So now obviously I've got a gun sticking out. We haven't put in the configuration to allow for holstering yet, but it's going to be a binary. We're not trying to make a stealth game, and we're not going to punish you for breaking stealth, because the idea is that you are an urban insurgent. You're coming in to kill Brigador Killers, to sow havoc, blah, blah, blah. And as such, you can either deploy hot, with a mongoose or some of these larger vehicles once you get them, or you can I forget. Did I say you can deploy hot? You can deploy hot, or you can deploy incognito. So, and also the other thing is we're going to provide you with objectives on levels. So it's like, oh, okay, hey, on this district that you're in, there's 3 Brigador targets that you can kill. Right now, you can just go straight in for that, or you can just deploy incognito. And if you don't start shooting, you can walk around the level. Find some collectibles, and collectibles, I'm not going to turn this into Assassin's Creed. It's not going to be collect 5,000 flags each level. It's going to be stuff like, because that was the thing is, Gauss and now Eugenius, our secondary artist. He's not secondary. He's just the new guy we hired, who's great. He might be in the chat somewhere. The two of them do incredible art. And so that was one of the things is okay, we want to zoom in the game a lot, or at least allow you to zoom in a lot. And also to slow the game down, both in terms of just being able to walk around the city. That was kind of the solve we were trying to do with the Auditor, is to give players a chance to look around and stuff. But because it didn't really work, just because it wasn't really tied in, it was a cool lore thing, but it wasn't really tied into the gameplay flow. So part of the redesign on Killers was to very explicitly integrate having an enjoyable stroll through the level as part of the gameplay. And so, for example, you can run in and steal a van. you're probably going to be able to steal most vehicles without sounding alarm. If you start like running people over and shit, okay, you're going to break incognito, and now shit's going to start getting hot. And then kind of like where GTA comes in is both the open city exploration as well as a escalation mechanic, which is two-pronged. One is the more damage you do, the stronger the response is going to be. And the response is going to be continuous. So a major, and we showed it in one of the previous streams, although we got a copyright strike on it, which is hilarious. If you're not familiar with the movie Heat, go watch Heat. It's an awesome movie. Michael Mann's incredible. But the idea is that you, as a small guerrilla faction, as an individual, are never going to outgun, no matter what the circumstances are, you're never going to be able to indefinitely outgun local security forces, right? Eventually, they're going to bring big enough heat that you're not going to be able to handle. So, it's going to be much more about building up a workable combat flow where it's plan your attack, get in, take care of what you got to take care of, and then get out. So we're allowing largely free movement into and out of levels, right? So it's not like the gates remain locked until you complete the objectives like it was in Brigador. It's not the case anymore. It's much more about let's put you in an urban environment, give you an opportunity to take a look at the world, kind of. And that was the other problem too, is that Brigador just threw you directly into the fire too quickly. Now we're still going to allow you to jump in if that's what you want, but for people who want a slower pace, we want to put you in the city and let you just like walk around and like slowly start experimenting, and the classic Elder Scrolls, like just start doing side objectives, start stealing cars, start collecting some guns. Don't even do any of the main Brigador kills. Build up your arsenal. Start customizing stuff and, figuring out the style of play that you like. And then, start branching out, start experimenting. So that's what we're trying to do. Lofty goals, and it's basically an order of magnitude increase in complexity compared with Brigador. Both in terms of the art. Like these sprites are 4 times the size. Double the width and height, but pixel density 4 times. So you get all this beautiful detail that people wanted in Brigador. And because of the increased detail and the overall kind of cityscape to engender, again, it's not violence for violence's sake. But we're intentionally putting the player into, shall we say, difficult scenarios. So say I've got, there's going to be a mission, for example, where it's going to be a street festival, shitload of civilians, and your Brigador target is going to be dead center in the middle of it. And there's going to be security forces around. So you can deploy incognito, hey, I'm just Johnny Incognito. Can run in, find your guy, bang, and then and like we've got sprint animations, all this other stuff. We just haven't hooked it into the AI yet. So everyone will start running and crouching and people freaking out. But in order to be incognito, like you're not going to be able to be incognito and pack an MG42 or in our universe a bone saw. That is too large a weapon for you to be in a business suit and to make it through clear, right? So you're going to be limited in your deployment to like a micro Uzi or something, which, against soft targets can still do a lot of damage. It's very deadly. And actually, why don't I just reset with a micro Uzi, or the Mac 10, for example. So let's reset Mac 10. Okay. So got all my guys, Street Festival, found my Brigador, bang. Okay, took him out, and now I got the heat coming, right? People are, you're gonna have a little bit of time, but the, something like a Mac 10, even against vehicles, like you really gotta. Actually, I'm really proud of this. So, after extensive study, thanks to Paul Harrell, we pretty accurately model that cars, for example, most bullets will go through cars unless you hit the engine block, in which case they don't. But 9mm against proper full body ballistic armor, you're gonna have a hard time. Same thing with a shotgun. Whereas an MG42 or an Obrez, you're going to be able to really chew them up, which is also why something like a Thumper, having a grenade launcher, which is fairly concealable on the scale of things. We're going to consider it a concealed arm, But now, okay, so you're in the crowd, shooting everything up, boom, 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 boom. You've now escalated from 1 star to 2 stars. And now you're getting some real heavy targets coming in that, unless you manage a mechanism, unless you're clever or steal a more powerful vehicle, enemies will, for example, bail out of vehicles if you can really spook them. But without you also escalating your firepower, you're eventually going to get outgunned. So in which case, complete your objective, steal a car, and then just get out. And then we've got pretty nice car physics now, thanks to Jacob. He's not even a new program anymore. He's been with us almost 2 years. But it's going to be a much, much bigger part of it. And so, civilians panicking, all this other stuff. And you're at the scale that I'm at, if you end up going up against a tank, you're dead meat. Let me find the tanks over here. Can't remember if I left the AI on these. Oh, yeah. So those are 50 cal rounds. Single 50 cal round is going to pulp anyone outside of an armor suit. Okay, let me catch up on the chat now that I've talked a ton. But I figure, so, Ben, if you're listening now or when you look at this later, this is going to be... I think this summary that I've done, we can maybe just do a little clip of it. And that's the thing that we can forefront on the Twitch channel or on YouTube, where it's okay, this is what we are building. Get excited, because we're excited. Guns are cool. Well, don't take that out of context. Hypothetical guns can be interesting. I'm a designer. I'm a systems designer. They provide interesting system design problems. Cyberspace, we are very intentionally cribbing from Stray Dog and Jinro. That, had a profound influence on us. The game you're talking about is called GTA Chinatown Wars. Yes. Oh, okay. Brigador Chinatown sounds pretty good, actually. Elias Lorvite. Greetings, fellow libertarianism haters. I am making no political statements. I am simply providing a context for this world, and I will let you guys and gals come to your own conclusions about it. Will we be able to fire small arms out of cars, civilian vehicles? Probably not. There's a big issue that we have just in terms of both animation debt and also the ratcheting of player attention. there's going to be a lot of stuff you can do with civilian vehicles, not just like ramming stuff with them. What's going to happen is 6 months from now, we're going to have a much more realized game world. And if we're just like, oh, geez, this is just, you should be able to shoot out of the cars, then we'll probably go back over and rework that. But for now, we're operating under the assumption that there is no, unless a civilian vehicle has a weapon mount on it, you're not going to be able to shoot out of it. So it's a combination of like player attention and trying to focus different playstyles and game modes. The other aspect of it is that there's just, from a technical standpoint, there's issues with how we built vehicles. I mean, this is a game engine that's 10 years old now, and it was built by first-time game engine programmers who were in their early 20s. And so there are just certain assumptions in the engine that make for certain types of inheritance to be very difficult. So I don't want to go against the grain if we don't have to. So we'll see. We'll see. Flying debris. If you are going to have more of a personal coherent narrative for the player, something that would be nice is if the game didn't treat you like a regular guy when you're between missions after engaging in mass scale violence. Yes, this is on our mind. And this is also something that Brad Buckmaster, our wonderful military consultant and the author of the Brigador books now, because the Brigador Killers book is basically done. He's basically been our touchstone on that. So we are keeping that in mind. There is going to be more of a narrative focus. We're trying to be awares of kind of cutting edge in the games industry, although I'm not going to pull a Duke Nukem Forever, although we're getting up there in the time, but for different reasons. Anyway. By the way, Hugh, will we get energy rifles? Yes. Kadek, do you know if Mega Man Vanity Set is still making the OST? They already did, and it's basically done. They made over 40 tracks for us. They might make more. We're probably going to have to make more, because this game is huge. So, we'll see. Nukemu. Are we going to be able to escalate all the way up to ultra class vehicles? I can confirm that the Toro will be returning. Beyond that, I cannot say. How about instead of making the Thumper concealable, we actually get grenades? That is under consideration, but regardless of whether the Thumper is concealable, which it should be, grenades are also on the table. How is the game balance from the silly? How is the game balance going to be for vehicle health and survivability now? Less health overall compared to Brigador. The idea is to go hit and run attacks. So, I can show you. Part of it is just violence escalation, right? So, even when you're unarmed civilian, you're still going to have like a ballistic vest. So you will have a little bit of an HP pool, but you're going to be pretty spongy. Or not pretty spongy. You're going to be pretty frail comparatively. Like, I do want to create at least somewhat realistic weaponscape. Now, what we are going to do is, I'm not a huge football fan. I enjoy watching sports, but they're useful metaphors, or I like extrapolating from kind of unique things from them. I like to say, if any of you are familiar with Fumblerooski, which was basically when old, I think it was 80s NFL. This is a turn, but you guys didn't expect this. So the idea was, in football, time's running out, because if you get tackled and downed, play's over. And if especially you don't have any more plays, then you got to make sure ball never goes down. Now you can fumble and the ball stays live. So long as the ball goes horizontal or backwards, keeps going. And so usually when it's like, okay, last play, you're down by 5 or whatever, you try some big play or you try a run play, and then every time before you get tackled, you fumble the ball intentionally and pray that someone else on your team picks it up, right? Our goal is to make this game so that it's like a plane crash. Plane crashes don't happen. Plane crashes rarely happen because one big fuck up. There's usually a big fuck up involved, but usually it's a concatenating set of mistakes or coincidences, bad things happening, right? And it takes a series of them in sequence for things to get real bad, right? So what we're trying to do with the game design of this is make it so that there's, even though things are getting worse, if you mess up or, you get shot out of your vehicle, there's always another chance. It's usually harder. Like the odds are increasingly getting stacked against you. But, that's because we're not overtly setting like stealth goals or anything. The goal is just complete the objective, get out. We leave it entirely to you how you want to accomplish that. And so part of that is just, okay, let's build in to the design of the game. Oh, 1 second, gentlemen. I gotta pause. Okay, I'll keep the music going. I gotta pause the mic for a second. Okay. So, I like to say, like, okay, I'm in my Carmine suit. I'm riding my motorcycle, going around. Oh, I run into an enemy tank, and he shoots at me. Oh, bang. The direct hit with the tank blows up my motorcycle. Oh, shit. And now I'm shooting. And I nearly kill the tank, but then he hits me again. But because it's the Carmine suit, it's still an additional layer above. So, bang. Oh, I lost the suit. And we're going to have like a little kind of skivvies jacksuit kind of thing. And your weapons are going to fall to the ground. So you have to scramble to pick them back up. And you're like, oh, shit. And then, you're scrambling and you're like, oh, fuck. I forget, do I have smoke on this? I don't have smoke on this. Maybe throw a smoke grenade. And then you barely get off the grenade. Bang. That tank goes down, but oh shit, there's another tank. So jump in a van, and now I'm driving the van away, but I'm getting pursued by cop cars, and it's like, oh shit. And then, tank round hits the van, boom, van blows up. And then, but, I got, I shot it. Oh shit. You can low tier units, you can panic them out of vehicles. So you'd be able to, shoot, get that guy to bail out, jump in, yada, yada. So that's what I mean when I say Fumblerooski, or like the plane crash metaphor. That's what we want, because that's to me, the most satisfying gameplay moments are when you nearly fail, but then you manage to, eke it out. And the issue that I have from a systems design standpoint is, I understand, for example, especially Japanese games do performance rating systems. So, and like Hitman does this, of like the Silent Assassin, although even though it's not technically a rating system, it's more like a feedback system. But, so like Bayonetta, or I think the Resident Evils do this. You play through the level, and it's like, oh, you did it in this time, and you killed this many people. You get a B. I understand why that exists. I, as a designer and as a player, hate it. I hate it so much. Yeah, the plane finally crashed. I hate that because it is dictating to the player, at least for me, seeing that grade, that letter grade impacts my enjoyment of, maybe it was an exhilarating mission for me and I played very badly, but I just barely made it out. And it's like, okay, you got a D. Well, part of my optimization brain is like, okay, I'm going to play that over and get an S. But part of my brain is like, well, now on subsequent missions, I'm going to play super uptight. And I'm going to be focused more on playing the game correctly than on playing the game the way I want to play it and enjoying it. So that's why, our earnings statement kind of stuff, we're going to have something similar to this in Killers, but it's never going to be assessing what you've done. It's just going to be, did you complete any objectives? If so, mark it down. Did you steal anything? And just tracking some numbers. And, so you want to provide the feedback, but it's not going to be, proscriptive? Is that the correct use of proscriptive? We're not going to be telling you how you did or how you're supposed to enjoy how to play the game. So in that way, it is much more of the sandbox kind of thing. Oh. Kadek, if you love the first book, you're in for a treat. We got a lot of good stuff in the pipe. I need to make one quick note real quick. Wait, shit. So, isn't a Brigador Killers dev stream without accidentally blowing yourself up? That is correct. Now, this kind of Matryoshka doll nesting is another... Oh, this guy's got a grenade launcher. That's going to be a problem. Shit. Okay. None of these guys have guns, so it's fine. Or I think they do, but they're panicked. That is bug, actually. Hold on. Let me look at this. Kill. Yep. Bug report. Bug report time. I need like a bug report. Here, let's do this all the way, folks. Just as we have lore alert, we also need to have bug report. And then what's a funny, dumb meme we can attach to it. Here we go. Perfect. Love it. This is Gamedev, people. This is Gamedev. Had a nice little drop shadow. I wanted this to look as cheap and shitty as possible. Ship it. I love it. Desktop. Bug report time. Now, okay, I need to deposit this in my streaming, relevant streaming folder. There we go. Okay, now we go monitor 2 cam 1. Yes, now we need, I need image bug time. Okay, browse image file, d:, video capture, bug report time. Guys, it's bug report time. Okay. Let's actually, and this is hashtag Gamedev. This is the real shit that you're getting. So I'm going to open up our oh, am I not logged in? Gosh dang it. This is why you don't reboot your computer. Do my independent security authorization. Because we're doing top secret 2-factor. There we go. Bugs. New issue. Well, what we need to do, let's be thorough about this. If I'm in a vehicle that dies, okay, so it properly spawns my weapon, but oh, that car didn't have anyone in it. Yeah, see, look at it. These cops, their guns ain't drawn. So, we shall pause. Gun sprites do not draw on AI units after exiting when spawning after vehicle death. Now, for thoroughness' sake, the other thing we need to check is, does this still happen if they bail out because they're panicked? So, I have not set the panic values for these vehicles yet, but let's do morale. Okay, morale 100. Panic at 70. Bleed at 35. Fail at 15. Reroll chance 100%. Okay. Now if we turn on morale debug. So now we see the morale bars. Okay. This is not a good shit. I need a single shot gun. Let's switch out for the, you know, actually foul should be good for this. I should probably respawn. Nope. Wait. Okay. Clear. Foul. Respawn. Okay. Panicking. Although, oh, I wonder. No, because they're not. Oh, these guys are annoying me. Die. Okay. Last shot, they should bail. Okay, yep, see? Until they flinch or something, the gun does not appear. So, we now have very clear setup for this, so... No, we're not gonna do that part. Okay. Should rig bug report time displays the Price is Right losing horn? I think it should be the come on down. It's terrible quality.
The young fellow in the yellow shirt, jump up there where Rich is. Right up. Hurry up there. What's his first name?
Don't care, don't care. There we go. That's the bug report song. I won't do that live on screen because we're trying to actually get something done here. But excellent idea. I like it. Okay, so got the image, and now I need to more specifically articulate after exiting vehicle and when spawning. Gun sprites do not draw on AI units when exiting vehicle. Weapon sprite. Well, the animation poses are correct, but the now if they yes, because they shoot, because that's a we actually have a recoil animation. So animation poses are correct, but the weapon does not appear. Let's zoom this in so you guys can see. Okay, animation poses are correct, but the weapon does not appear. Let me see if I can just get Prices Right theme music. Oh yeah, here we go. Thank you for going on this journey with me, guys. All right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. What I really need is like the Price is Right lights on the edge of the screen. That's on the to-do list. This is important work. Animation poses are correct, but the weapon does not appear until any change occurs in the unit's animation state. Firing, flinching, animation state, on the upper, lower, carrying the weapon. Crouching alone does not cause the weapon to reappear, as it is on, as that is a lower only animation. Correct. Okay, so the animation pose on exit is still correct, but the weapon itself does not draw until a change occurs in the unit's animation state on the chassis carrying the weapon. In this case, the top, upper, firing, flinching, etc. Crouching alone does not cause the weapon to reappear, as that is a lower only animation. This bug does not affect the player. This bug behavior is uniform across AI exiting a vehicle on the vehicle death versus exiting a vehicle from morale, from bailing to morale. Player weapon draw, however, is not affected. This is bug reporting, guys. Gun sprites do not draw on AI units when exiting vehicle. Animation pose on exit is still correct. The weapon itself does not draw. This is getting annoying. Does not draw until a change occurs in the unit's animation state on the chassis carrying the weapon. In this case, top, upper. Chassis carrying the weapon. State. Not draw until a change occurs in the animation state. Firing, flinching, etc. On the chassis carrying the weapon. Blah, blah, blah. And then, period. Crouching alone in this particular case does not cause the weapon to reappear, as that is a lower only animation. This bug behavior is uniform across AI exiting a vehicle on a vehicle death versus exiting a vehicle from failing due to morale. Their weapon draw, however, is not affected. Okay, there is one more use case we need to test, and it is going to be absolutely hilarious, but it is necessary, which is we're gonna stick one of these mall cop suits in a car. So what I need is muscle car. Go to the loadout. You are going to instead spawn mall, EMD mall suit 1. So now if this dies, the mall cop should appear. Fuck! Why didn't... We went through this yesterday. Why didn't this appear? Right, because it's medium tracked wheeled. Okay. So we need to temporarily mall suit. Let's go to car. Go to loadouts. Not specifying that. That's good. We need, however, to say that pilot flags, medium, wheeled, you can drive that car. So now... Fuck! Come on, man! Why you gotta do me like this? This may be another bug. No headshots. Headshots are done in isometric. Commander of the album is U2, or well, it's Passengers, but it's by U2 working with Brian Eno. It's just Passengers' original soundtrack. It's got stuff from Heat. It's basically music they've done for various films and kind of independent projects that don't necessarily fit under the purview of U2, the band. Okay. Let's get some contemplative music back on. Yeah, this is good contemplative music. All right. Let's figure out what the fuck is going on here. First thing, okay, let's just remove the damn passenger. Okay, so Gamedev mall suit 01. I'm just gonna flag it as small. You're small. I don't care. Oh shit, that's what happened. I didn't change the pilot flag. I changed the. Wait, no. Yeah, car muscle. No, I did change the pilot flag. Shit. Interesting. I have a hypothesis about this, which is that it's not spawning the vehicle because this thing, the mall cop thing that I'm trying to put in it, is itself a piloted vehicle. So, if I instead mall cop 01, if I say null loadout and you do not require a pilot, I'm betting this is going to work. Fuck. Damn it. Let's see if they still behave properly. Enemy true. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. So there's still active AI. What is going on here? Okay. Come on, man. What's going on? In the process of trying to uncover this bug, we uncovered another bug. We got to eliminate variables. Okay, so PMD mall suit. Flags. Are we... I have exclude flags on, don't I? Yep. Dumb. Reset. There we go! There's our boy. Not inconspicuous at all. Or not conspicuous at all. It is. Yeah, okay. All right. And you're working properly. Okay, so now let's revert. Let's bring Mall Man back to his mall perfection, which is that, okay, so still flag, small, whatever, don't care. Okay, so let me kill him. You should have a tiny man inside of him. Fuck. What happened? Loadout, yes. Loadout, wait, all guard. Oh, that one was empty. That's why it didn't do anything. You have someone in you, don't you? You have someone in you. Ah, okay, yes. All right, so the cop inside. So, if we kill this car, he pops out. And if we kill him, cop pops out. Yes! Glorious. Okay, that worked. Now, the real test, I'm gonna really crank the zoom on this. I need to set the minimum zoom. Where's zoom? Set radius, no. Zoom. Wait, no. Zoom max 10. Aha. Wait, no. Reset. Wah. What? Okay, whatever. Close enough. So we kill this. Now watch. Is that blue gun still going to be there? It is. Interesting. We kill him. No gun. What's going on here, fellas? We don't know. So, instead, we will include this in our bug report. So, gotta be thorough, guys. Gun sprites do not draw on AI units when exiting vehicle on AI infantry units when exiting vehicle. Animation pose on exit still correct. Blah blah blah. AI exit. Weapon draw on player controlled units is not affected. This image should go top. I tell you people. Okay, boom. Okay. The no draw only appears to affect infantry units, or rather units with multiple animations, which I'm guessing is really units with multiple animations on the chassis holding the weapon. Note below the mall scooter still holds its gun on exit. We did it! We wrote a bug report. Type, issue, assignee. Actually, I will let them decide. Milestone. I'll let them decide. It's not urgent. This is Brigador Killers. Bug. Draw tree. Create issue. Got a juicy bug for you guys. Wrote up as thorough an issue report as I could. Wow. All right. Bug report time has ended for the time being. Drinking all the soda water. Oh man, I gotta go to the bathroom. Let's switch over to title card. Play a cool song. Don't necessarily want to stick with you too. Oh yeah, okay, we gotta go. Switch over to TV on the radio. Be right back. All right. We have 15 minutes. Let's do something cool. Look at our beautiful bug report. Great job. Also, we should have a big BK post coming real soon. It's Benjamin's prerogative because he has to do all the work on it, but should include lots of information on Brigador Killers. So, put this away. Let's... Oh, that's a fun bug. What's going on here? Oh, that's funny. Okay. So, because I was holding shift during pause, it now thinks I'm sprinting. So I'm still doing my... What a treat. I love this shit. Look at this. Look at this. He's in a super position of aiming and sprinting. There we go. Delightful. Okay. Let's work on the mall cops. So, we don't actually want to save any of the changes we made on any of these. Let's clear the slate. Mallsuit 01, Mallsuit 02. Okay. This is too big. So this mall cop is gonna be basically the lowest tier power suit you run up against. So what we need to do is we need to set morale. We need to set the pierce resist. We need to set we need to set morale. We need to set pierce resist. We need to set hit points. Okay. Cracks me up every time. Grenade launch, you gotta be careful with grenade launchers in this game, okay? At least when you're on foot. Okay. Let's first get ourselves a Carmine suit. And let's pull up Photoshop. And let's pull up this PC. Where did I? That UI workflow. Where did I put you? PK mockups, thank you. There we go. Right. Oh man. I love TV on the radio. So, this is a workup we did a couple streams ago. Different guns, different calibers. We didn't actually get far enough on this. Jiminy Christmas. Okay. So there's pierce versus pierce resist, right? And then there's penetration, and then our damage value. Civilians are our baseline measurement. Average civilian Joe is 0 pierce resist. So any gun of pierce 1 or above, which is basically everything, will deal full damage against a civilian. What we're gonna do is say the actually, that's a good idea. We should have like an unlock that you get like a ballistic vest that upgrades. That's a lot of work though. No, that could be cool. Let me make a note of that. So, idle thought. Start incognito outfits. like the business suit and the yellow raincoat, as pierce resist 0. But then once you get the, creative ballistic vests or whatever, we upgrade all player upgrade all player they're not non-combat outfits, they're all player base level outfits to pierce resist 1. Interesting thoughts. Because what that would do is effectively, this is what's cool about it, right? That upgrading your pierce resist from 0 to 1 against everything here and below does nothing. Because these are all pierce 2 or above. And the way our model works is that, okay, I forgot that. Where our model works is that if your pierce, so the pierce value is, how much, what's the penetrative power? What is the damaging, puncturing power of a projectile? The difference between pierce and penetration, right, is like, penetration is just like pure momentum, right? So you could have penetration is like how much shit can it go through, and we separate out penetration from pierce, even though they're generally pretty correlated, because like a 5.56 slug will go through a lot of material. Actually, it'll go through several bodies. It'll go through a lot of like corrugated metal and stuff, but it won't damage metal armor, right? Whereas you take something like an RPG has very low penetration but very high pierce. An RPG, as soon as that hits like a body, a 5.56 round is going to go straight through that. An RPG is going to explode. So that's why we need to separate those values out. So like an RPG in our game, very high pierce. It's capable of damaging basically any unit in the game. But it has a low penetration in that the second it hits something, it splashes, explodes. Regular handguns, everything below 5.56 is going to be a pierce value of 1. And pierce versus pierce resist, civilians, pierce resist, if they're equal, so if your pierce is 1 and your pierce resist is 1, then you deal half damage. If your pierce is 1 below your pierce resist, you deal only 25% damage. And if your pierce is 2 below or more, you deal 0 damage. That's a big, big, big change from Brigador to Brigador Killers, is that we've got a pretty hard stratification of damageability. And you can no longer, mow down a Toro with 8mm Mauser machine gun. It's not going to do anything. Now, if we were going to go full simulative, then you could shoot out the optics and that would be useful, but you're still not killing the mech. And that's a level of specificity that just doesn't match our abstraction. So machine gun isn't going to do anything to a tank. And likewise, so all is to say, the upgrading of the player base pierce resist from 0 to 1 means that against 45 ACP, 9mm, and 22, so bottom tier weapons, your HP is effectively doubled. And then, but against 556, 762, anything above that, no difference, right? So it's only giving you a little bit of cushioning at the lowest level. Might still need to think about it, but anyway, that's kind of where we're at, broadly speaking. So why I have this chart is to then talk through. Oh, I'm getting shot at. There we go. Haha. Switch back. You guys have any questions, by the way? I know I've been just kind of go, but happy to respond to anything you got. Anyway, so Nospal, that Nospal like cop suit is basically a ballistic vest. It's going to be pierce resist of 1. The next question is the not a power suit of these mall segues. I'm tempted to do like a 2 on the, well, shit. No, because we're doing all those guns at tier 1. Means 25% damage. But they panic. Bingo. Okay, so I think we are going to want, for these suits, I think we're going to want a 2-1-1-1 setup. Sorry, Nukamu, these are, this is overall pierce resist, this is penetration value, and this is hit point value. So penetration is just purely subtractive. So if I have a bullet that does 25 penetration, then each object it hits, you subtract that object's penetration resist value from the penetration. And if the penetration exceeds the penetration resist, the bullet keeps going. So a bullet of 25 penetration against civilians is going to penetrate 2 civilians. So hit the first guy, 25 down to 15. Hit the second guy, 15 down to 5. Third guy, 5 down to -5. It drops below 0. So it does not have sufficient penetration to pass through. It terminates on the third target. So, what we know is, for example, thanks to our patron saint of ballistic logistics, Paul Harrell, we know that 556 and 762 pretty trivially will pass through multiple layers of ballistic vest. So even though this has a pierce resist of 1, actually no, we can concretely figure this out, right? So a 50 cal bullet will pass through up to 6 people. Don't ask me why I know that. But this is known. And that's kind of how we ended up at the 10 penetration resist. So this big boy, so let's go, yeah, pierce pen damage. I think we have like 58 for it. Let me look. Bullet data editor. Penetration 60, yeah. So let's actually demonstrate this. I'm gonna want to reset. This is why I had these guys set up in lines, by the way, is for enfilade fire. It's actually tough. Okay. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why only? Oh, and then it hit the ground. That's why. Okay. This will be easier. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then on the 6th guy, I believe it would terminate. This is too hard on the tank because it's tall. So let's let me just respawn my guy with a 50 cal. There we go. It's ugly, but it works. Now we crouch. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, done. Okay, yeah. So when it hits 0, it's out. What made you go for abstracting penetration rather than going for some sort of simulation? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, here's the thing. Abstraction is still a level of simulation. If you're modeling it off of something real, it's just how grossly you're simplifying, right? One of the issues is just like our debug or our prop hitboxes. Okay, so let's look at these props, right? These props, from a game engine standpoint, each one of these, it's this giant block, right? That is the tile size of this world. And so functionally speaking, we can't, like, I can't set, if I turn this back off, right? So you've got these like 8 concrete donuts in a single tile. I can't differentiate a bullet passing between these 2 donuts versus going through these 3 donuts, even though substantially that would be very different. Because from the game's standpoint, it's just this one big block. The limitations of trying to properly simulate it, ignoring the performative aspect, it's just we're basically hard limited against doing a more simulative style. You know, like what you'd find in Arma or something. So instead, and also just from a balancing standpoint, it's, especially again at the scale of this game, it makes more sense to have you basically, here's a rule of design, of game design, that took me that I did not agree with 10 years ago. Probably didn't even agree with necessarily 5 years ago, but is my stance now, which is that you want to simplify down from a system standpoint as much as possible to the bare minimum that is required for the interactivity of the world that you're creating, right? So, like, I could theoretically program in, like, oh, these guys' balls shrink based on the temperature of the world, and it has a fractional impact on their hit points. Like, I could do that. Like, that is we're capable of programming that into the engine. But it would have an invisible, it would have no impact on the gameplay aspect. So even though I, as like the systems designer, I'm like, yes, the temperature is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And so this bullet will travel 1% faster. Especially for the scale of game that I'm making, no one's going to notice that. It's not going to make any meaningful difference to the gameplay. And functionally, it's wasted time. Like, I would rather spend that time on things that are visible to the player, making this game more directly better, impactfully, or finish this game faster and start building another game faster. Anyway, that was overlong response to your question, but just trying to kind of talk through some of the thinking and methodology here. 50 cals are fun. They absolutely just brick cars. Actually, it could be. I'm very fortunate that we have a genuine military guy to consult with, because that provides a lot of relief in terms of I can just call Brad and be like, Brad, what would happen if a grenade hit a car? And Brad either has personally witnessed or has known someone who has witnessed that and can give me fairly concrete answers on this stuff based on his experiences with that. So it's super useful. So, okay, let's bring it all the way back. Bring it all back, right? So, 50 cal. That thing goes through 6 people. We know 5.56, 7.62 goes through less than that. So, we know, so the pen on this is 60, and that's pretty set. Like, we're locking in the 10-10 on the civilian hit point / penetration resist. Now we're just solving for the variables on the equations, right? So we know these are greater than so we want greater than 20, but less than 60. Shrink that down a little bit. I'm not using my tablet, so I can't draw as finely as I'm used to. And for the 25 millimeter, I believe that's the same. I believe the 25 millimeter is also set to 60. Possibly even less, actually, because they're explosive rounds. And then we're gonna have to go soon, so let's try and okay. Bushmaster, respawn, Bushmaster. Let's look at the bullet. Yeah, okay. So right now we got the Bushmaster also set to 60. So Bushmaster, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then explodes. Which, why did that not our debug explosions 1? Why did that not? That first one didn't cause anyone to flinch. What the hell? Son of a bitch. Interesting. Let's set the penetration to 59 and reset. I think we found I think we might have found another bug. But let's check. Two, three. And then if I shoot an... Oh, it's because I'm using the dang 50 cal. That's why. Jiminy Christmas. It gets to you. Believe me. You don't need prop hitboxes anymore. Okay, we have the Bushmaster out. Yeah, it's much bigger too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. Detonate. Yeah, and you got that big AoE effect. Got it. Okay. And from an effect standpoint, right? Like you... Like a 50 cal bullet hitting an engine block is like 50-50 chance going through versus stopping. And something like an explosive, you know, Bushmaster round, right? 25 millimeter. Because a lot of its damage comes from the explosion aspect. So we split out the damage so a bullet has impact. So each time it hits something, bop, 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 we apply the impact damage. And then if it's an explosive bullet, then when it detonates, bang, then we get, okay, the additional amount. And in some cases, so for example, with an RPG, some very thin material, like a glass pane or like a, you know, corrugated tin or something, that something with an extremely low penetration resist, an RPG is going to go through that and not detonate. But it's going to deal very, very little damage because the bulk of an RPG's damage comes from the actual, little damage. It would still kill somebody. So it's still dealing 10 plus points of damage. It's just that if it hits a person, that's always going to explode. For dealing with the Bushmaster, we want to make sure, like if I'm shooting the front of a van on this, I'm probably gonna want that 25 mil round when it hits that van. I'm probably gonna want it to actually explode. Just from a player satisfaction standpoint and like player expectation. So that's something we have to account for when we're going through this kind of design methodology. And that's also why we have, you know, we're not just doing pierce penetration, but we also have the pierce resist on stuff. Because if the pierce resist is equal to or greater than the pierce, then no matter, that overrides penetration, right? So I can have a bullet with 1,000 penetration, but only 1 pierce. And if it hits a 1 pierce resist or 2 pierce resist object, no matter what that object's, even if it has a penetration resist of 1, that bullet isn't going to punch through. The idea being that it's like, and that's how, when we finally implement ricochets, that's going to be a big part of that calculation. So your ricochet chance is going to depend on the disparity between your pierce value of that weapon and the pierce resist of the thing you're hitting. But that's later. Not doing that right now. Okay, so we know for a fact 5.56, 7.62 in our system has a penetration between 20 and 60. 45 ACP, 9 mil. Why did I say? I did that wrong. That's weird. What? That's again. I need to change this notation. Is what? Let's just bracket this. So that's between 8, 10. $10, $20. Comment should be as well, for visibility's sake. Probably something like that as well. And so here's what's interesting, right? So by having 9mm and 45 ACP, Pierce of 1, that means if they hit anything with a vest, it's stopping. But if we go between 10 and 20, that means that it'll pass through a single person. Whereas something like a shotgun, I forgot to add that to the list. That's going to have a Pierce of 1. It's going to have a pen of less than 10. And then the damage is 6x question mark. Don't know that yet, but we're shooting 6 projectiles. Okay, 5 more minutes, and then we're done. Still got to bracket damage on this stuff. Pierce of 1 means it does 100% damage against civilians. Civilians receive extra damage. We also have an additional tertiary damage modifier, which is, we look down here. Penetration damage resist. Yeah, civilians receive 50% increased damage from the sides, 100% increased damage from the back. So double damage from the back. So if we set, and this is a way to kind of set sort of a randomization. So, yeah. Yeah, that was so that the 22 would take multiple hits, even to the back, to kill someone. 9mm, our damage, we're going to want less than 10. But, okay, yeah, it's going to be between 10 and 3. It's going to be true for both of these. Red moment from a dead century. That's going to be me singing that lyric is going to be funny because in the playback there's no music. So I'm just going to sound crazy. Which I am. 556762. We want to be a yeah, I think we're gonna want those to be a guaranteed kill every time. Maybe. We'll see. Somewhere. Just make a note. Always kill on hit. Question mark. Because the other thing is, we don't want to make too big of a damage disparity between these bullets. Because then your curve, your progression curve becomes too severe. We're just talking through stuff, guys. We're just talking and thinking. Ben, did you see our bug report time? This is I need to gussy it up a little bit more, but I love it. Zen, what made you go for... Oh, yeah, I already talked about that. I think you leave all your math to do on stream. This is stuff... Like, the thing is, I could just sit down for like 5 days and try to just... There you go. Culkin gets a tanker cap. Yeah, that's a great idea. I could grind through it. The problem is this is a continually evolving thing. Just because our understanding of what the game is always shifting as well. So that's why I'm kind of setting ranges here, and I want to keep this as a mental guideline as I keep working through this stuff. So we're gonna go 60 question mark. Need to check that. Thanks, then. Yeah. We still got to do 308 as well. I don't actually know. Actually, yeah. No, I know for a fact 308 is still going to be somewhere in the 20 to 60 range. These guns are probably going to be somewhere around the 7 to 9 damage value, where it's like okay, that's right. 9mm and 45 ACP. I only want them to be a guaranteed civ kill on a rear hit, and if a rear hit is double damage, 50%, 6, 3, 9. That basically makes these 6. Or somewhere around there. Because 6 double again. And maybe that's like the 45 ACP versus 9mm. Is 9mm gets a higher pen. 45 ACP gets a lower pen, but a higher base damage. And maybe has like a guaranteed side hit kill. Which would be, but not front hit. So, guaranteed side hit would have to be greater than 6. So, 45 ACP would be like 7 damage. And then 9mm is 5 or 6. That would make it so that rear hit always kills for both of them. Side hit is a guaranteed kill for a 45, but not for a 9mm. Front hit requires 2 hits regardless for both guns. 5.56, 7.62. I think 5.56, we go like 9. And again, the other thing to note is, even though these damages are pretty similar in value, it really scales up once you start factoring in penetration resist. Because penetration resist, with these guns being a pierce, or not penetration resist, pierce resist, right? These are all 2s, right? So I don't know why I didn't fill that in before, but 2, 2, 2. These are bigger, higher, well, not necessarily bigger, but they're much higher velocity bullets. And those things, and they're way, way, way faster. So they'll just like go straight through shit. So you could even say like, okay, 5.56 actually same amount of damage, right? Also does 6 damage. But you know, when we're going up against something like Police Vest, which has maybe 15 HP, then you know, that's where you start really building out those differences. Flying debris, how does pen and pierce factor into stuff like splash? Well, glad you asked. Let's take a look. Pushmaster, bullet, explosion parameters, explosion radius mid, explosion radius far. So let me show you. Wait, no. Debug explosions 1. No, don't kill me. Okay, so inner ring red, middle ring orange, outer ring yellow. That's the explosion radius 1. Explosion radius mid is orange. Explosion radius far is yellow. We separately set the damages for them, and we separately set the pierces for them. So explosions are actually pretty complicated from a maths and balancing standpoint. So for something like a Bushmaster, oh, yes! Okay, this is a perfect thing to end on. Let me save this. Where is my... Where's my chart? My extra special chart. Where did I put it? Too many tabs, fellas. Too many tabs. Sourcing submissions. Am I? Brigador. The SKU tracker. Conventioning down. Jiminy Christmas. Okay. This is relevant, so it's worth actually pulling it up. I'll just have to manually find it in my drive, which is, I can't believe it's ridiculous. Why did I not? That's the SKU list. What the hell? Oh, I did it. I did it in Excel. That's why. I'm a ding dong. Okay. Whew. So, what is this? What am I looking at here? What are you looking at here? This is gun data. And this is a sample calculator that we're going to be exporting game data from into this, feed it into this. And then I will be able to do some calculations on it and see raw numbers. So, for example, okay, so we got spool time, cooldown, shot count, magazine, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff have maths that are getting computed. So, let's look at the Bushmaster, right? Manpaw, Bushmaster, boom. This big boy, right? We know, so DPS alpha, we got DPS single mag, DPS true. Alpha DPS is how much damage can it do in 1 second. DPS single mag is what is its average DPS without reloading, so over the course of a single magazine. DPS true is what is its DPS when you include reload time. And then AoE versus soft target, AoE versus hard target. So what this stuff is looking at is like pierce penetration, right? So we have Bushmaster, pierce of 3, penetration 60. Okay, cool. And now let's go down, and we've got all of this damage being calculated in here, right? So it's single shot damage. Where did we put that? Damage per shot impact. So right now we have 25 millimeter Bushmaster round dealing 80 damage per thing it hits. And it'll go through a couple things. So like each civilian that it's hitting, that's dealing 80 damage, 80 damage, 80 damage, 80 damage. And then when it explodes, presuming a penetration resist of 0, or a pierce resist of 0, that's going to deal an additional 56 damage. So a total of 136 damage. But then we go down here. Okay, so raw 136 total damage, including the explosion, against an armor 0 target, or pierce resist target. When we get to 1, it only goes down slightly because only the outermost explosion layer has only a pierce of 1, and it only does 1 point of damage. So we're only losing half a point of damage. Similarly, when we get to pierce resist 2, we're getting 25% mitigation or 75% mitigation on the outermost ring. On the middle ring, we're getting 50% mitigation. But again, that middle ring is dealing very little damage. And so it's not until we get pierce resist 3, okay, now the majority of where our damage is coming from, which is the impact and the inner ring of explosion, both of which have a pierce of 3. Now, both of those are cut in half. The middle ring is cut by 3/4, and the outer ring does no damage. And then at armor 4, only the inner ring and only the impact are dealing damage at all, and that's at 25%. And then against armor 5, it just can't, it's going to ricochet, right? Can't deal damage. So when you look at something like the Abbot, which deals 454 pure damage, Abbot doesn't care. All right, 0, 1, 2, and even 3, very slight mitigation, 4, very slight mitigation. It's not until you get to an armor of 5 that you're actually getting a meaningful reduction in the damage to a target. And armor 5 is like a Toro. It's your ultras. So with that being said, and then we have visualizations of the radii. So for example, the Abbot has a very even distribution of, propagation of its explosion, of the damage across it. Whereas, the grenade launcher differs. Okay. I really got to go. This is awesome. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Next time, hopefully I'll have more of an afternoon. I won't be visiting old college friends. This is fun. I'm having fun. Hope you're having fun. Might even do a spontaneous thing this weekend, maybe. Who knows? Don't count on it. But definitely next week. Definitely at least one stream next week. Doing great. And Ben, if you're still here, when are we putting out the BK post? Do you know? Why are you doing the harblow? Why are you always harblowing me? What's going on here? Was that to the weekend stream? Whatever. It don't matter. I don't know. Well, that's what I was asking you. You're in charge of that stuff. I don't have a. I mean, I kind of have a pony in that race, but I am deferring to your sage wisdom. While I'm waiting for that answer, let's get a Russian tanker cap. Perfect. Okay, so end of the month. Got it. Works for me. Frankly, I think the sloppier this is, the better. Beautiful. This is a very good suggestion, Ben. Oh, I love it. Oh, I aspirated something. That was terrible. Perfection. Man, needs a little drop shadow. Hold on. Let's do this properly. It's too severe. Perfect. Ship it. All right, moment of truth. Did it update? All right. With that, have a good night, everybody.